Hey guys, I'm going to go over how to edit your traditional media photos for your websites. I want you to submit a zip file with 5 PSD files by this Sunday, November 19th. This is just something that you would do with traditional media images such as paintings, printed photos, drawings, illustrations, anything that's done in traditional, what's considered traditional media. Obviously, digital works that you've done in my class, let's say with Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, can be exported as JPEGs or PNG files. So this isn't necessarily for working with your PNGs or JPEG files out of digital works. But we're going to go over the steps using the ruler tool to straighten the image. We're going to crop the images. We're going to do a Command L to change the levels just to get the colors looking good. We're going to go to make sure it's in RGB color mode, which is right for the web, obviously. We're going to check the image size, make sure it's not too big. Save out a PSD file just to save the layer information, and that's what you'll turn into me. But we'll also save a copy and save out high-res JPEG file and a lower res JPEG file, so 2 different JPEG files that you can use on your own. Obviously, I'm only collecting the PSDs for this for a grade, but I do want you to export out 2 JPEGs, 1 high res and 1 lower res, just so that you have those on file, backing them up on your computer. So let's get started. So if I'm in here, let's just open this up. Let's say this is a traditional media piece that I did and I want to put it on my website, and I took a picture in decent lighting with my phone, but it's still not looking quite the way we want it to. So I'll walk you through the steps necessary to get this looking good for your website. So yeah, we can use the ruler tool. It's underneath the eyedropper tool. It's down here. You click and hold down and drag, and you should be able to drag out a line. I've already done it. You can edit the line if you didn't quite get it right. So the ruler tool is great for straightening the image out. And typically you find a straight edge, usually the edge of the paper. And then you do a line along that edge. And like I said, you can always edit it later if you need to. And then we can do, I got that matching pretty well on that edge. So now I can go to image rotation, arbitrary. Okay, and that arbitrary rotation will give you this rotate canvas. Right now it's going to do it clockwise, which is correct because this image needs to rotate clockwise a little bit because it is slightly too far counterclockwise. And the computer does a good job of figuring out the angle to get this thing level. So let's go ahead and push OK. And it does, as you can see, make it much more level. This edge is still a little cattywampus, but for the most part it did try and straighten it for us. It did rotate it for us. So let's go ahead and crop next. So we'll just crop around this as best we can without trying not to crop out too much of the actual illustration. I am going to end up maybe cropping a little bit of this blue section out down at the bottom, but it's not going to affect the image too much. Push return. Okay, so there we go. That's looking a lot better. I did kind of maybe miss a little bit at the top, but let's just pretend like I didn't. Next, let's unlock this layer. We're going to actually work on the colors now. If you look, the colors are kind of not the best. They're kind of dull. So let's unlock the layer over here by checking the lock icon. Then here there is adjustment layers. We can go, it looks like a circle that's half filled in. Let's go to levels. And you can see the levels panel pulls up in the properties here. We want to move the 3 in the middle, not the 2 on the bottom. Okay, so this is the lights. So if this is all the whites in the image, if I move it to the left, it starts to kind of lighten those a little bit because as you can see, it's kind of a gray. So we want to make that white. So bring it over till it's white. That background's white. Let's kind of deepen some of the midtones a little bit. We don't want to push it too far. I might have pushed the white a little too far too. And then we want to bring the darks in a little darker and maybe even just a little bit more white, and experiment with that middle slider a little bit. We don't want to change the color too much, but I think that's looking a lot better than it did. Maybe something like that. I am starting to blow out the lighter yellow color if I go too far with the yellow slider to the left. But just experiment with these. Typically, you'll move the whites to the left, the mids to the right, and the blacks to the right to get it looking better typically with a levels adjustment. Okay, so in your PSD file that you turn in, I want to see that this is straightened, that it's cropped, and that there is a levels adjustment done on your image so that the colors look good. And so this is the point where we can actually do our file save as. And we want to put this in a good spot, you know, in our documents. We want to put it somewhere that makes sense. So let's see. I'll just put it in this folder, even though this isn't the correct folder. And let's say, you know, I have a website folder in here maybe. Right here, my portfolio website, go in here. I made an images folder, and I'm gonna put, you know, my stuff in here. I already have some in here, so I'm gonna back out one. Let's just pretend like this is the images folder. I'll just do images. Okay, so I'm in my images folder. I'm gonna name this PSD file bag drawing. So I did put a descriptive file name on there, so I can tell what it is without having to, you know, open Bridge or anything like that. I can see what it is just from the name, and we're going to keep it on as a PSD, and we're going to save that. So we just saved this with the layer information as a PSD, put a descriptive name on that, and then let's do image size. So this is when we're going to size it to be a high resolution JPEG file. This is actually high res as it is because it's so large. It's at 72, but if we check the resample, we can make this 300, and that will be 6 by 10 inches, which is still fairly large. So if we push OK, we can actually save over the PSD file to make it 6 by 10 at 300 ppi. And then let's do image size one more time, and then let's not do that yet. Let's do a file export, because save a copy. Sorry, to get a JPEG file. So we want to take that extra copy off the file name, and we do want to save this as a JPEG. And this will be the high res JPEG. Sometimes you can put high res on there if you want to, just to clarify it. Make sure this is up all the way. Okay. We can also do file. Okay. So and then we can size it down now. So we can do an image size. Recheck this and just size this down to 72. Okay, so now if we look at this image size, it's 72 at 6 by 10, which is quite a bit smaller. So we don't want to save over the PSD file. We don't want to push save at any point, but we do want to do file save a copy. And we'll make it a JPEG. You could also do PNG files. They're totally good too, but especially for a transparent background. So we want to clean up this file name, make sure it's on JPEG, and then we want to do low res, something like that. Or we could name it small, whatever works for you. Everybody has their own naming conventions, but okay, so I have high res, low res, save that, okay. And then just save out of, just cancel this and say don't save, because we don't want to save over a PSD file as a low res file. So when you close out of this, just remember to not save it. And that would be the process for 5 of your traditional media photos, typically done for Joel's class. But if you have outside projects that you want to feature that are traditional media that weren't done for classes, that's totally fine too. All right, thanks. Bye.